Welcome to literary and jury charge practice. Let's get started with this jury charge. Ready? You must keep in mind that you are not to be influenced by sympathy. You are not to be influenced by prejudice. You are not to be in any way influenced by the passion of any of the participants in the trial. As jurors, you must decide the questions of fact. You must also follow the law in the case. I will instruct you in the law that applies in this case, but you are to decide the questions of law. In this case, there are 3 defendants. The defendants who are accused of the felony are the principal or person accused of committing the crime, the accessory before the fact, or the person who assisted before the crime had been committed, and the accomplice. All 3 have been charged with a wrongdoing. All 3 are here in court to determine if the evidence is such that it shows that they committed this crime. As you know, all 3 have been accused of participating in the crime. If you find them innocent of the crimes as charged, you must vote for acquittal. If you find that they are guilty, then you must vote to convict. An acquittal means that they will go free. The district attorney has brought forth the charged, indicating that a crime has been committed. It is now for you as jurors to decide whether the evidence that the prosecutor feels shows that these individuals committed a crime is enough for you to find in favor of the prosecutor. If the evidence is not significant enough, then you must find them innocent of the charges. As stated previously, you must not be influenced in any way by any sympathy that you feel for these individuals. You must not be influenced in any way by the prejudice you feel toward these individuals, or any prejudice toward the attorney who represents them. All right, we'll stop there for now. Let's do some material from our Mr. Rogers book. A little literary here. All right, here we go. Ready? I've had lots of heroes lots of people I've wanted to be like. To this day, I can still feel the excitement. In 1944, as I opened the first installment of my Charles Atlas exercise course. I had saved my money, $19, and had sent away for those lessons that I thought would help me look like Atlas himself, holding up the world. In 1944, I was a chubby and weak 16-year-old, and Charles Atlas was trim and strong. I did the exercises every morning. Some of them even had me hanging on a bar at a door jamb. Many months and many lessons later, I still didn't look like Charles Atlas. Now, happily, I don't need to. Maybe it's natural, especially when we're little and feel weak, to choose outside kinds of heroes and superheroes who can keep us safe in a scary world. My next hero was a big man on campus in our high school, Jim Stumbaugh. He could do anything. A letterman in basketball, football, and track. He made all A's. Both of his parents were teachers, but his dad died during our freshman year. Who knows? Maybe that made Jim sensitive to the needs of a shy kid like me. At any rate, we beat the odds and became lifelong friends. Many years after high school, when Jim's teenage son was killed in an automobile accident, I was there for him. Let's get back to some jury charge. Ready? You must not be influenced in any way by the passion of either attorneys who presented the case for you. As I indicated, it is now my duty to instruct you in the law that applies to this case. The law that applies in this case has to do with the crime that was involved. The crime involved is considered a felony because it is considered a serious crime. It is your duty to follow the law. As jurors, it is your duty to determine the effect and value of the evidence and to decide all questions of fact. You must decide all questions of fact without being influenced by anyone in the trial. As you have witnessed, there are 3 parties involved in the crime. The principal has been charged with actually committing the crime. The crime he is charged with having committed is the crime of robbery. If you find that the evidence shows that he is guilty as charged, then you must vote in that manner. If you find that he is innocent, then you must vote for acquittal. With regard to the principal, you must keep in mind that he has been charged with the crime of robbery, but you must determine whether he is guilty as charged. You must keep in mind the crime he committed, including stealing a large amount. That makes the crime a serious crime. The law determines what amount is considered to be serious. The principal is the person who is charged with this serious crime, but he did not commit the crime without help. The principal is said to have been accompanied by another individual who assisted in the commission of the crime. That person is said to have aided and abetted in the commission of the crime. We'll get back to that one. Now let's get back to our literary that we were practicing, called Archival Storage of Steno Notes. Ready? While retention schedules apply mostly to official court reporters, freelance reporters should also consider the likelihood of having to produce or reproduce their records at a later date. Some possible scenarios include if neither attorney orders a transcript at the conclusion of a deposition, or if a case evolves or morphs into its various forms throughout its life and additional parties are added to the litigation, meaning additional copies may be sold. While the reporters may have the transcript saved digitally, storing separate PDF files will allow them to print the transcript in the future without physically storing a huge amount of transcript pages. As guardians of the record, we must also take the attitude of preserving the record the tagline I used not only in the advertising of my freelance business for many years, but also as a way of operating my business and ensuring that the records I was entrusted to will be accessible in the future if needed. Let's finish up this jury charge. Ready? Here we go. To aid and abet means to help in the commission of the crime. Someone who assists in the commission of a crime is known as an accomplice. The accomplice in this case is said to have been the principal, as he committed the crime of robbery. The accomplice is the person who is said to have aided and abetted in the commission of the crime. You have had presented to you sworn statements or affidavits from certain individuals who indicated that the defendant charged as an accomplice aided and abetted in the commission of a crime. If a person aids and abets in the commission of a crime, they are guilty of committing a crime. You must decide whether the defendant is the principal who committed the crime. You must then decide whether he had an accomplice and whether the accomplice is the individual named in this trial. An accomplice is said to be someone who is present while he aids and abets in the commission of the crime. Let's read a little bit more from our Mr. Rogers book. Ready? The way he lived through that terrible time, and the way he lived through his own years of cancer, confirmed my pick of a hero. Jim started out looking like Charles Atlas, ended up looking like Mahatma Gandhi. What's amazing to me is that he always acted like that peace-filled Gandhi. Yes, Gandhi's one of my heroes. All right. On that note, that will conclude our literary and jury charge practice.